More and more companies are adopting hybrid models where their employees split time between the office and home. Well, what are the keys to making this model work? You want to do it right. Jim Harder, Gallup Chief Workplace Scientist, joins me live with some tips for us. Good morning to you.
Hi, Melissa. Great to be with you today.
Well, you as well. We know so many more people these days are trying to figure out this balancing act. So what are some of the keys to a successful hybrid work model?
We found there are three characteristics that managers can have a lot of influence on employees too. And one is to make sure you have clear expectations. And that means that there needs to be some collaboration around goals, and it needs to be continual because things change in business pretty continuously. Organizations need to have meaningful one-on-one conversations. I would argue at least one meaningful conversation per week between the manager and the employee. And there's got to be a system of accountability where people know how well they're doing, know what their achievements are, and get feedback on that on a continuous basis. Fair and accurate accountability where people feel like they're developing and don't feel separated from the work situation.
Let's look at it from the employer's standpoint of view. What goes on there with how they can make those schedules work?
We found that employers really need to lean in this hybrid space on building an environment where people are more like coaches than bosses, where managers get upskilled. 70% of the variance in team engagement is related right back to the manager, and that's whether it's a hybrid environment or in an office environment, because work and life are so blended. That coaching aspect is really important. Managers are really in the best position to understand each person's situation, and so much of what engages people and increases their well-being is situational. And so managers are in a great position to do that.
And I think we've all learned a lot along the way. I know that I worked at home for about a year. What do you suggest employees really make sure they're doing to make sure that that schedule works?
One is make sure that you know your own strengths, your innate strengths, what you do best. Some people have more focus than others, and some people work better in the office, some people work better at home, and some work better with a blend. Ask for feedback. Feedback isn't just about the manager giving the employee feedback. Employees need to ask for feedback, both from their manager and their colleagues. Plan conversations with your colleagues, especially the informal ones that tend to happen naturally in the office. Plan informal time with people that you work with, and communicate your work-life situation with your manager. We all have a different work-life situation. We found that in spades during COVID, and so we need to communicate that and make people aware of that. And people need to be more strategic about office time and really plan office time, and think about when in-person time is most needed and is most productive, because there are times when it's really important to meet in person.
It can be a little challenge too if an employee is at home. They're not expecting to be into the office on a certain day, but boss asks them to come in. How should that situation be handled to make sure both parties are happy with what's going on?
Yeah, we found that the right balance is what we call freedom within a framework. So you've got to have some freedom. The most desired perk, Melissa, pre-COVID was flex time. And then suddenly we had a lot of flex time. But we also need a framework that's really kind of geared around individual performance, how we collaborate well as a team with our colleagues, and also how we bring value to customers. So the framework really needs to be around, and the reason that we not every week is going to be the same for a lot of hybrid employees, because we do need to meet customer needs. That's why we have the jobs in the first place. So there's got to be some flexibility around that.
Now, what about hybrid work models as far as everyone's concerned? Have we learned the past year that a lot of industries that we never imagined in a million years can actually pull it off? Do you feel like most can do that?
Particularly white-collar industries. 72% of white-collar workers are still today working remotely, about 14% of blue-collar. So there's a big difference by industry, but particularly computer and mathematical kind of jobs, life, physical sciences, arts, design, finance, insurance, real estate, legal. A lot of those traditionally were always in the office, and they found that it can work effectively away from the office if we manage it the right way.
Well, I think it's great that we've all proved that we can work on our own, and we can really do a good job at that as well and stay motivated. Jim, great conversation. Thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me, Melissa.
Right now.